Hey everyone, it's Mike from Arkansas Heirlooms. Hey, I know that we've been growing a lot of heirloom tomatoes this year, and folks who aren't familiar with heirlooms might not understand how to know when their tomatoes are ripe. And that's a big deal because most people are just used to red tomatoes they get from the store, and they don't put a lot of thought into that. But heirloom tomatoes are different. Every tomato has a peak flavor, a peak ripeness, and that's a little different according to your tastes. But it is pretty close to all the same. And I want to show you a way how I pick my heirloom tomatoes and how I know when they're at peak. This may not be the most polished video. I am dealing with a little bit of mania right now with my bipolar disorder, and my concentration's off a little bit, but I do need to get this information out because there's a lot of folks in the community gardens who have tomatoes that are ripening and are not sure how to know when to pick. I have a few different kinds of heirloom tomatoes up here that I'm going to talk about. Like here is a Black Beauty, for instance, right? Now they have the dark shoulders. People always ask me, well, how do you know they're ripe? Well, I always pick them as they begin to blush red, right, like that. But I pick them early. I always pick all my tomatoes before they are ripe. I don't vine ripen my tomatoes. Everybody thinks you have to do that to get good flavor, but that's not true. You just got to let them begin to blush. And I don't like leaving them on there because the longer they're on there, the more chances that caterpillars and birds and squirrels will be drawn to the color, and so I like getting them off of there as soon as they begin to turn. And so, like with Black Beauty, like here's a Black Beauty. You can see it's beginning to blush. So I picked it. It's still hard. And then here's one that's a little further along, right? And I'm squeezing it gently and feeling for give. Now this one's got just a little bit of give, and I would give it a day or two myself. Right, so let's come down here and look at one. Here's a Black Beauty. Right, this one's about ready. I push on it, it's got a little give, it's still firm, it's not mushy. You don't want to wait until they're mushy. That's the peak to me, is a little give, but it's still firm. And you'll see color on the Black Beauties. And this is a Thorn Burns Lemon Blush. It'll turn yellow, and you'll do the same thing. You're looking for give. It's not about the color so much as it is about the give. You want a firm, but you want a little give, but you want it to be firm, but you don't want it to be hard. And there is a little bit of, preference for people to that. This is a Black Pineapple. I'm doing the same thing. It's been sitting in here for a minute. Now I'll pick them like I said. These got picked a little early. This one here is beginning to blush. This one got picked right. So I think that's everything. These down here are just regular red tomatoes, but they're the same way. As they turn, they're still kind of hard. I'm waiting for them to give me a little bit of a give into that flesh. So that's how I know that my heirlooms are ripe. I pick them a little early as they begin to turn for a lot of reasons, knowing that everything's in that tomato for it to be fully flavored, full of sugars, once it begins to blush. And then I bring them in here and I ripen them. Turn them up like this if you want to go faster. Turn them like this if you want to go slower. I give them light. If I want them to go faster, I keep them in a darker space if I want them to go slower.